Welcome to my channel, Botswana Thinking Law, where I bring you and the law closer. Today on this channel, we're going to be talking about something called a universal partnership. But before we get started with this video, I'd like to put in a disclaimer. This is not legal advice. This is simply a sharing of general information. If you have a problem of a legal nature, please engage the services of an attorney. Now back to our video. What is a universal partnership? A universal partnership is where people come together through a romantic relationship. Remember, it is important that the relationship be romantic. If the relationship is not romantic, then it would be an ordinary partnership. After the romantic aspect, there are certain elements that have to be indicated for a person to say a universal partnership exists or existed. And these are 4 elements. The first element is that each of the parties brings something to the partnership. And this something can be in the form of money, labor, or skill. For example, as a lawyer, if I get into a relationship with someone and this person wants to start a construction company, for example, and I continue to give them legal advice for free, I don't charge them, then that is a contribution because I'm contributing what? Skill. The second element is that whatever is being entered into is for the benefit of both parties. So when we carry on this example of the construction company, and I'm giving this legal advice for free to this person who is starting their construction company, it should be that at the end of the day, this construction company will benefit myself and my partner. Therefore, if I contribute skill to this romantic relationship, but it is not to the benefit of both myself and my partner, then it cannot be said to be a universal partnership. People have to understand, though, that it is not necessary for us to sit down and say this will be for both our benefit. As long as we as the parties understand we are going in a certain direction, and this direction is for us to be able to benefit from this company that is created, or from whatever exercise. Let's say, for example, a person wants to buy a plowing field, and then they ask me to say, you know what, I've already bought a plowing field, but because you are unemployed, can you go and supervise the people at that plowing field so that they can clear out, so that we can start plowing that field and we can produce food from that plowing field. After the plowing field has started producing food, this person then comes and brings some food to me. That is for our joint benefit. And right there, even without us having agreed, you can see that it is for our joint benefit. The third element is that whatever we get into should be to make profit. And profit is in the form of money or in the form of some other growth. And when I say some other growth, let's go back to that example of the lawyer and the construction company. The construction company can make money. And when the shareholder now has to benefit, they get paid out what is called dividends. And if the person decides, you know what, as a company, I want you to buy me a house in my personal capacity, in my name, and I will pay back this house instead of you paying me dividends. That is a benefit. And if the person then decides, you know what, Bonolo, Because we are in a relationship, you've helped me create this construction company, you've given me legal advice for free. You know what? Here's a car. It is in Bonolo's name. Bonolo uses it and things like that. That is a profit because it is an increase in the estate of Bonolo. So as long as you can demonstrate some sort of profit from the exercise that is taken on by these parties, then you would have established the third element. Similarly, when we talk about the plowing field again, the fact that this person then plows this field, goes and sells the produce and says to me, Bonolo, here is some airtime. Bonolo, here is a cell phone. That is seen as profit because it is contributing to the growth of my estate. So sometimes people will look at that and say, no, profit has to be money and it has to be money of a certain amount. No, even 100 pula can be profit as long as you can demonstrate all of this that I'm talking about. The fourth and final element is that there should be an agreement between the parties. And this agreement can be express or implied. An express agreement is where people sit down and say, all right, we are agreeing that this will be the situation. We are deliberately creating a partnership. But an implied agreement is where when you look at the way people are carrying themselves, it is clear that they have created a partnership. So, like the examples I've been given, as a lawyer, I'm here giving free legal advice to this person for them to incorporate a construction company. If they went to a lawyer for legal advice, it might have been more money. So I'm contributing my skill. And then this construction company starts to make money. It makes money, and that money is used for the person to buy this and that for themselves and to buy for me this and that, which shows that it is for our benefit and it's making a profit for both of us because it shows that there is a growth. And if you look at all these actions, clearly one can legitimately say, here there was a partnership created. And in doing so, like I said before, the aspect of utmost importance between a universal partnership and an ordinary partnership is the romantic aspect of the relationship. Now, one thing that people have to understand about universal partnerships is that when it doesn't matter whether one or both of the people that are forming this partnership are married to other people. So if I'm married to person A and the person I am creating a partnership with is married to B, that does not stop the universal partnership from existing. So if the person I am in a partnership with passes away, I am entitled to sue that person's estate, claiming universal partnership so that I can derive some benefit. And sometimes, depending on the contributions that have been made, I am entitled to 50% or less or more. So each case is looked at on its own facts. However, if the person is married in community of property, for example, I am only entitled to a share in his 50% of the joint estate. Remembering that when a person marries in community of property, they only own 50% and their spouse owns the other 50%. So I would only be entitled to a share of the person I've formed a partnership with up to the 50% that is that person's share in the joint estate. Similarly, when people are married out of community of property, they can sue, and successfully at that, for universal partnership, provided they are able to demonstrate all the necessary elements of a universal partnership. If I pass away and the person I've formed a universal partnership with is alive, they can sue my estate for a share from this universal partnership. If I pass away and the person I've created a universal partnership with also passes away, then my child, who has an automatic right to inherit from me, can sue that person's estate, claiming that a universal partnership was created between myself and that person, and therefore they are entitled to a share of that person's estate. This also extends to my spouse, because in terms of the law, if I pass away, and make sure to check my video where I talk about administration of estates and wills and so on. If I pass away, I'm not looked at as a tribesman, and I leave no will, then my spouse has an automatic right to inherit. And they can use that automatic right to say, hey, I am entitled to a share in that other person's estate because this person had created a universal partnership with my wife. And I know a lot of people, enter into these unknowingly. And most of the time, if you look at a lot of the cases on universal partnerships, it wasn't instances where people actually sat down and agreed and said, yes, this is what we are going to do. Therefore, when people decide I'm not going to marry because I want to protect my assets and so on, sometimes the law can show you, married or not, married out of community or not, at some point in time, if the person can prove what needs to be proven, then they can get a share. I hope this was an informative video. Please make sure you comment down below so that I can hear your thoughts on this issue of universal partnership. I thank you very much for constantly joining me on these videos. I'm having a fantastic time creating them. Please make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe. Ring the notification bell so that every time I put up a new video, you get notified. Follow me on my Facebook at Botswana Thinking Law and on my Twitter at BW Thinking Law, where I put up some legal snippets here and there. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.